Hi, eighth graders. We're going to look at rotating this shape, this triangle, ABC, around the origin, 0, 0. So I'm going to say this is my center of rotation and see what it does in various capacities in terms of how the X and the Y change in certain situations. So center of rotation. So what we're going to specifically look at is rotating it about this point and going 90 degrees counterclockwise, or essentially rotating it 270 degrees clockwise. That would be the same sort of rotation, right? So counterclockwise 90 degrees or 270 degrees would put it over here, and it'd be the same rotation. Rotating it about 0, 0, 180 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise, it doesn't matter, it would bring it over here. So we're going to look at the rules and how the x, y, any coordinate on this shape would change if we rotated it at 90 degrees versus 180 degrees and that sort of thing. So to start out with, let's look at ABC, and we are going to just rotate it 90 degrees counterclockwise. So we're going to bring it over here into the third quadrant, or into the second quadrant, sorry. So A, it is 2 units to the right and 1 unit up. That means it's 2 units up and 1 unit to the left is our new A prime point. So our new A prime point is -1, 2. Our B point is 3 units to the right and 5 units up. So we're going to look at we're going to now look at this in terms of where it's at, and we're going to say 3 units up and 5 units to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to make a new point here for B prime. C is 4 units to the right and 2 units up, so we're going to go 4 units up and 2 units to the left to draw our C prime point. And so now we have our triangle that we can now connect the dots to, and we can see that this triangle has now rotated, everything has rotated 90 degrees clockwise, or counterclockwise, sorry. So B prime point, it ends up becoming -5, +3, -5, +3. The C prime point ends up becoming -2, +4. So if we look at how these points have changed, we can see these points, 2, 1 became -1, 2. So they flip-flopped and the x value became negative. If we look at this next one, 3, 5 became -5, 3. Again, the points flip-flopped and the x value, which was the y value, became negative. Again, 4, 2 became -2, 4. So the 2, that former y value, when it became the x value, it became negative. So the way that we can write this rule as it changed, we can say the x and the y values, they flip-flop, so the x value becomes a y value and the y value becomes an x value. But we also see this change in the y value becoming opposite of what it was. So we can see that it becomes negative compared to what it used to be. So the 1 became a -1, the 5 became a -5, the 2 became a -2. So the x and the y flip-flop, but then the y also becomes negative every time we rotate to the right, or rotate counterclockwise 90 degrees or clockwise 270 degrees. So now let's look at rotating about a point 0, 0, 180 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. It truly doesn't matter if we're going to look at clockwise or counterclockwise when we're looking at 180 degrees, because truly all we're doing is like bringing it to the exact same spot. In this case, we're going to be bringing this ABC triangle over into quadrant 3 this time. So now let's look. A is 2, 1 over here. We're going to bring it around to the other side in a rotation of 180 degrees. So this over 2 up 1 is now going to be over to the left 2 and down 1. So A double prime ends up becoming this -2, -1, -2, -1. If we look at B, B is 3 up, over to the right 3, up 5, or up 5. That means we're going to the left 3 and down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 5. We get B double prime. I keep writing I didn't write my prime's right, B double prime. So this B double prime, -3, -5 is my new coordinate pair. -3, -5. C, 4, 2, 4, 2 becomes over to the left 4 and down 2 units. So C double prime becomes -4, -2. And so I can now connect those dots so I can see them all come to fruition, and I can now see that this triangle has rotated over here. So if I look at these coordinate pairs, 2, 1 became -2, -1. 3, 5 became -3, -5. 4, 2 became -4, -2. So our x and y's both just became opposite of what they were. So the x value became negative where it was positive. The y value became negative where it was positive. If these values were negative, they would both become positive with that rotation. So in other words, if we had a shape over here and we rotated it 180 degrees, we would see that those negative coordinate pairs would become positive coordinate pairs. Kind of neat. In all reality, we can also look at this neat concept, and I might lose some of you. So if this is as far as you can go with your conceptual understanding of this, go ahead and pause this video and don't watch the rest. However, if you are sort of interested in how all of this is changing, I want you to check this out. If we look at how x and y, so if we look at how x, y in our original shape, it started to change. It initially changed. If we rotated it 90 degrees counterclockwise, it became -y x, correct? Now, if we rotated it, this was 90 degrees counterclockwise. If we rotated it another 90 degrees counterclockwise, which means I'm taking this shape and rotating it from here to here, I got this coordinate pair. -x, -y as a general rule of thumb. So for this coordinate pair, the x, y became -yx. Okay, so the y value moved up here to the x value spot. The x value moved back, but the y value also changed it from negative to positive. If we then look at from when it changes again, this x value is doing the same thing that the y value did before. The y became negative and moved into the x spot. This x now is going to move from the y spot and move into the x spot again, but it's going to become negative. The y is just reflected over because that x just was reflected over. Kind of cool. So just using that, we can predict what our next rotation would be. If we rotated this yet another 90 degrees counterclockwise, 90 degrees counterclockwise. If we rotate it again 90 degrees counterclockwise, we would say that this y value is going to come up in front and it's going to become opposite of what it was here. So it's a negative y value. It's going to become a positive y value. And this x value is just going to move over into that y value spot. So if we were going to look at this 90 degrees counterclockwise rotation from here, into this fourth quadrant, we would see this occur, this change occur from those sort of thoughts, or those sort of things. So 90 degrees counterclockwise from the original becomes -yx. 90 degrees again becomes -x, -y. 90 degrees again becomes a positive y, -x. So kind of a cool set of rules that they kind of do a dance around each other. I think it's kind of neat. I hope you liked looking at that, and I hope I didn't lose too many of you. Either way, when you are finished watching this video, this big ideas takeaway video, I want you to make sure that you have completed the lesson for 3.3. Also, make sure you check your work, and you can check your work either using the answer key that was linked, or you can check your work with the final third video that is on this lesson. That one is optional if you don't need to check your work with having me talk over it. And then last but not least, make sure you do the must-do practice problems, which isn't very many, and then the exit paths. Thank you for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye.